One of the main problems I see when people come to me looking for help and advice on how to improve their diets is that they simply don't have any structure that they follow on a day-to-day basis. One day they might eat one meal a day and then fast for the rest of the day. The next day they might eat 4 snacks that are tiny. The next day they might binge eat and go out to McDonald's and eat 5 burgers and then go grab a ice cream cake from Dairy Queen. And then the next day they feel like shit and they fast the whole day. And then the next day the whole cycle repeats over and over and over again. And this lack of structure just is self-sabotaging. It's forcing these people to, and this is the majority of people, trust me, most people don't have any type of diet structure, at least people who, are looking to make improvements. They don't have the structure needed to make improvements, and they need to build some sort of structure in order to see some results. After watching this video, you're going to understand the need for dietary structure. You're going to understand the need for planning, the need for being prepared for the inevitable roadblocks that are going to happen. The problem is most people have their own roadblocks. I could make the best diet on earth for 2 different people, and they're each going to self-sabotage in their own little way. And everyone has their own way of self-sabotaging. Even the people you see in magazines that look amazing, they don't look like that all the time, and they probably have their own type of dietary issues that they have to deal with, but they have the ability to really, really grind their teeth, and when it comes time to it, they can make those massive transformations that, again, they're not necessarily healthy, but I'm just saying that everyone, I can guarantee you, everyone has their own little roadblocks that they run into. The difference between person A and person B, where person A is successful and person B is not successful, is that person A has the ability to respond in a much more successful way than person B. While person A and person B might both have a sweet tooth, person A is able to bypass that need by having a specific plan once that cue for having a sweet food comes up, and person B has absolutely no preparedness, and once that cue to consume something sweet or high in fat, they just go ahead and do it. When I talk about dietary structure, I'm not talking about overly restrictive, you can never eat this, you can never eat that, you have to eat this then. I'm talking about creating dietary allowances. So this means having multiple options for each meal, having your meals set out so that you at least know how often you're eating per day, and have a general idea of what types of food you should be eating in each meal. The other thing that's really important is going to be your dietary awareness. So this is understanding when you are kind of in the mode of, yeah, I'm ready to eat whatever I need to stay fueled and to reach my goals, and when you get off track, and you need to be aware of what's going on in your life to put you on the right track and what's going on in your life to put you on the wrong track. And you have to have the ability, when your life or whatever's going on in your life is ready to put you off track, you need to have the ability to be prepared for that and not respond in a negative way with food. When it comes down to it, our dietary structure is going to be used to override our impulses to mess up on our diet. We want to have a systematic approach to how we eat. We want to try and take the emotions out of that approach and use our mind and think about what we need to do, when we need to do it, and how to execute the best way properly. Having this structure basically takes a lot of the guessing out of the equation. And when you have to guess, and when you have no idea what you're going to be doing for this meal and that meal, you have a much higher chance of kind of screwing up and going off of track. And most people know what they should and should not be eating. I can go and give someone a dietary template, and it could just be one that I give to 50 different people. And the fact is, it might work on like a handful of people who can actually follow it, and the reason for that being is that their dietary structure and what they're eating on a regular basis, it probably is already close to whatever template I'm going to be giving them. But for people who have to drastically change their diet to meet just a dietary template, it's going to be really, really hard, because they're going to be fighting to change their diet, they're going to be fighting to change their meal frequencies, and it just doesn't work out very well. So you need to figure out for yourself, if you are following some sort of dietary guideline, it needs to have allowances for a wide variety of different foods so that it fits for you. You shouldn't be having to fit for the diet. The last main point I want to discuss is having loosely structured meal times. So I've already discussed this in the last point, but I just want to hammer that home. So one of the main things that I've noticed over years of working with clients who are mainly looking to lose weight, and of course obviously a lot of people who are looking to put on some weight, but the main problem that a lot of people have is their meal frequency, or the way they structure their diet on the weekdays when they're working, and kind of they can be a little bit more automatic. Changes can change drastically for people who have a more social or have a lot less structure, not necessarily to their diet, just to their lives on the weekends. So for people who have issues with the weekends, that just opens up a whole nother need to have dietary structure, whether it's the same as your weekdays or it's going to be different than the weekdays, but you need to have some sort of structure. You need to have some sort of level of preparedness and planning for the weekends if you find that the weekends is the limiting factor to you reaching your results. For instance, I've had a client who goes to a different location on the weekends, and it's been really, really hard for him to figure out how to change his dietary structure and how to get in all of his meals on the weekends. During the weekdays, when everything's structured, we have everything fit in for his work schedule, everything is going quite smooth. But on the weekends, when things are a little bit less structured with his life, one day he might be working a really long hours, or might have to go to a really long seminar. Other times he has a bunch of freedom. So on the weekends, when his work structure is completely different than what it is during the weekdays, that unfortunately gets him out of rhythm to his meal structure. So for him, what I've had to do is create basically two structures. One meal structure for the weekdays when everything's in rhythm with his work schedule, and then another meal structure for the weekends when he's a little bit out of rhythm, but we want to create a meal structure that'll be doable for him on the weekends. So you can understand the need for personalization here. I can give him one diet that's supposed to fit him all for every single day, but unfortunately his lifestyle just isn't congruent to those goals, and we needed to take a more personalized approach, and it's been working very, very well. To wrap up, dietary structure is very, very important. We need to have a dietary structure to not only increase our dietary awareness, but we need to give ourselves dietary allowances. We need to allow ourselves to be prepared and to have a plan of attack once our environment is ready to wreak havoc with our diet and kind of make things harder for us than it needs to be. And finally, we need a diet structure, whether that's going to be daily or whether that's going to be one for the weekday and one for the weekend. Maybe you're going to have one for when you're at home, and one if you work a lot, one for when you're at home, and one for when you travel. And it's really endless, the amount of structure that you can make. But I guarantee you, if you know your lifestyle better than everyone, if you can create a structure for yourself, that will inevitably lead you on a successful path. So if you enjoyed watching this video, please hit that like button. I really appreciate that and it helps me out a lot. If you know anyone who you think would benefit from this video, please share it with them or email it to them. I'm looking to help as many people as I possibly can. If you like these types of videos, please hit the subscribe button below, and I look forward to talking to you again very soon. Peace.